Hey guys, welcome to the newest episode of Skagit Storytellers. My guest this week is Joe Leroy. He's been very integral in the Valley's music scene for the last 3+ decades. The first local show he ever saw was Lawn Dart. If you've ever shopped at Hugo's in the last 25 years, you've probably met Joe. He actually sold Charlie his first guitar. And his old band, Funeral for Bugs, played the first Birdstock, along with a band called Bad Chuck. Joe is a sweetheart, and I think that anyone who knows him is going to love this episode. In addition to teaching me some history of the Skagit music scene, he also shares stories of his mom, addiction, and loss. Finally, you will be treated to 3 songs. Well, 4 songs, actually, if you count the one where he pleads for me to play his songs on a radio show. But if you want more, he just released his debut album under Joe Leroy and the Reconsillers. It's called Blue Pipes and Hot Nights, and you could stream it on the major platforms. Hopefully, he'll get physical merch soon, like CDs. And I told him to put it on Bandcamp so we can purchase it and support him. When he gets a band together and plays a show, you will hear it here first. All right, there are 2 more episodes after Joe's that I'm releasing for season 4. And then I'm going into hibernation to write my book. I hope to be back to recording new episodes late summer. Hopefully, we'll see. I've never done this before, so it's probably a lot harder than I think it is. Remember that during the hibernation period, you can always listen to me and my talented co-host Spencer on Anacortes Music Project Radio, Wednesday nights from 6 to 8. That's online. And if you go to our Instagram account, you can go to our little highlights section, and I have one called Archive Shows. You can go through and look at all our playlists and listen to all the old shows as well. And again, that Instagram account is That Reminds Me of Radio. That's it, guys. Short intro today. I hope you love this episode, and find Joe online with the name Joe Guitar Man. I believe he's on Facebook and Instagram. And please tell him what you think of this. Enjoy your weekend, be of use, and go do something hard.
Howdy, partner. Welcome to one of the most northern parts of the United States of America. Travel with me upriver as we talk to a bunch of ladies and fellers and they share their tales of wit and wisdom. That's right, it's time again for Skagit Storytellers.
With Liz Duffy.
Almost everybody on your wall, so please ask me about.
We'll just go through the posters. Okay.
Yes.
Nobody's Peach. That's Matney Cook's band.
Oh yeah, Matney's a really good friend of mine.
Okay.
Yeah, she's such a talented singer
And just a huge heart.
Yeah. Are we recording right now?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And then only tree I don't know. Jack Mattingly, I've known him since some of the very first Bad Chuck shows and since the very first Birdstock, because my band that I used to be in, Funerals for Bugs, who played the first Birdstock.
Oh, okay.
With them. And, I wanted, Jack was my boyfriend way before Sack Me showed. And,
Before Dusty, even?
Maybe I was after Dusty, but I'm a much more skilled lover than any of them. One of my nicknames is Gigolo Joe, and I have a song called The Ballad of Gigolo Joe. But, and then, Zach I've known forever. And then, depending on how deep we want to get, you should ask me about Charlie Krengel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
He's in a lot of these bands that are on the wall.
He walked our daughter down the aisle at our wedding.
Oh, that's really sweet.
And I found out later, after we made a really great connection and we're, best friends, I found out that Wait, your mom used to teach preschool? He said, yeah. And I said, wait, what's her name again? And he told me, and I said, that was my daughter's preschool teacher. So I
Uh-huh.
already had that connection to him before I even realized it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll go a little I guess I'll go a little back, but I won't go back too far. But so I was a salesperson at Hugo Helmer Music for like over 15 years.
Oh, gotcha.
And I sold guitars and guitar accessories and stuff. And one of the true joys of my job was getting kids started on guitar. I loved it. And then, like, putting things into a language that they could understand that wasn't too technical. And I was really great at doing that for people, so that they could tell me what they liked and what they wanted, and I'd listen to them, and I was really successful because of that. But Charlie, he first came into the old store in Mount Vernon when he was about 13, and him and his dad Chet, and I helped Chet get Charlie his very, very first guitar. So we have a really, really special relationship. He's like my little guitar brother.
Oh, that's so cute.
I helped get him started on guitar, and then he just didn't come out of his room for a couple years and just became a phenomenal blues guitar player over time. And then eventually he joined us at Hugo Helmer's and worked with me for a long time. And we're still really, really close friends. And he has really excellent taste in gear, and his tone is just lovely every time I see him. Yeah. And then if we move down, who else do I see that I know?
So for the viewers at home, Joe is just looking at all the posters in my studio.
So, Wes Jones, I've known him for almost as long as Charlie, and what a great, sweet man with a big, huge voice. And I've known Corey Vincent for the same thing, shopping at Hugo's forever. And then it depends on how far we want to go back in the Skagit music scene. Most of the guys in Fanny Alger I've known since I was in high school.
Oh, you went to high school with them?
No, I just went to their shows and stuff. So,
gotcha.
So Shane Gildness is one of the founding fathers of the Skagit DIY punk rock scene, starting in the mid '80s. And I graduated from Burlington High School in 1994, and in about 92, I started going to local shows at, they used to do punk rock shows at like the Hillcrest Lodge. And I remember my first show there. It was this band called 7 Year Bitch that was actually pretty big and well known. And then this band called, what were they called? This hardcore band from Mount Vernon called Cranial Decomposition that was together forever. And you'll see all that stuff on the, there's that Skagit Punk and Hardcore group on Facebook.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that, yeah.
And you'll see pictures of everybody floating up. So there was all kinds of music going on. And then Shane was in this band called Lawn Dart, and then later this band, Blue Green.
I've never heard of Lawn Dart. I've heard of Blue Green, though.
Yeah, Lawn Dart was the predecessor to Blue Green. And I went and I saw them at the fairgrounds, and it was the funniest thing because there was this band that was blowing up from Bellingham at the time called the Posies that got to be pretty big. And they were supposed to play the show at the Skagit Fairgrounds with Lawn Dart and then my other friend's band called Scoop Fresh. And I just really, really liked Shane, and I thought he was funny. And I was like, I had only been playing guitar for a couple years, so I'm like, he's literally just playing three chords and his guitar is barely in tune and he's having a great time and it's just great. And the big joke from back then, and I still tease him about it, especially with Fanny Alter. I'm like, dude, I've known Shane for 30 years. I'm like, if you tuned your guitar, it would not be the same band. And they in Lawn Dart they had this song called "Hey," and "Hey" was the only word in the whole song, which I thought was great.
Was Quinn also like who was all in that band?
He was in that band. I am not sure who everybody else was, but I know that I know a couple of the guys that went on to form, like Pavlov Jones and then Fortune 500. They were in that.
Oh, like
band.
Scott Story.
Yeah.
Andy Brown.
And I've known all those guys forever, and I've known Andy since pretty well since the late 90s. And so anyways, when I was in high school, I didn't get to form my own band, but I I got my first guitar when I was 15. And I'm going to connect some more people here because I'm old. I got my first guitar when I was 15 years old, and I was a freshman in high school.
Did you ask for the guitar specifically, or did your mom say, "Hey, I think you would like this"?
Oh, I begged her for it.
Oh, okay.
So,
were your parents really into music?
My mom, yeah, she really loved rock and roll and stuff.
Did she play as well, or she just listened to it?
She was just a huge fan. Had a great record collection growing up, and
all kind of genres of rock, or
all the great 70s singer-songwriters, and a ton of Zeppelin. You know, I was raised by redneck bikers, so a ton of like Zeppelin, ZZ Top, Neil Young, like all that stuff is ingrained in me. And then everything I grew up in the 80s listening to on the radio.
Well, with her loving music so much, I'm surprised that you had to beg her for it.
Oh, I didn't have to beg her.
Oh.
I just wouldn't stop talking about it,
She was probably so excited.
and what inspired me was, it was like fall of 1990, and I went to an assembly at school, and I walked in, and my later friend, Carl Blau, he was playing Welcome to the Jungle.
Oh, Carl Blau, one of the founders of AMP?
Yeah.
Got it, okay.
He was playing Welcome to the Jungle at the assembly and like the Star Spangled Banner and stuff. And we both had sweet mullets that we both eventually grew into long hair. But I saw Carl play guitar, and it really made me want to play guitar. And then can I swear? Is it okay?
Yes. Yeah, go for it.
I absolutely fucking love Van Halen. And I was an introverted and kind of damaged kid, and it was hard for me to connect with people. I had like all kinds of anxiety issues and stuff like that. But when I saw pictures of Eddie Van Halen playing guitar, he was always smiling, and I was like, that I really want that kind of joy in my life. And so we didn't have we didn't have a lot of money growing up. Even though my mom worked her ass off, and I had I won't talk about my stepfather, but anyways, this everybody knows where this place is. So, and it's funny how things are so karmic. So, like, and it was funny because Mom couldn't even wait until Christmas. So Mom just goes in to JC's pawn shop in South Mount Vernon, and she points at a guitar on the wall in there, and my mom just starts taking her jewelry off and putting it on the counter. And uh, and I'll send you a picture of myself with the guitar for sure, so you can see
Please
it.
do.
It's really cool. It's really cool. And so it's the beginning of December, and my mom gets home, and she can't wait to give it to me. She is just beyond stoked and full of energy. And so she gives me my first guitar, and it's only got 3 strings on it, and so I just take it in my bedroom, I start plunking on it and annoying everybody. And back then it wasn't as easy to learn to play guitar as it is now. They didn't have all the stuff on the internet and YouTube, and
You had to work for it.
you really did have to work for it. And like,
Did you have brothers and sisters in the house telling you to be quiet?
I had a little brother.
Yeah.
And anyways, my mom was like, Joe, if you learn to play this thing, I'll take you down to Hugo Helmer's and I'll buy you a real guitar.
Oh.
And so, we took my one guitar down and we got it restrung, which they were really nice about it. And it was funny because like shred guitar was big and everybody wanted like a double locking tremolo on their guitar. And I loved Van Halen. So I have like this $80 cheap Japanese copy of an SG guitar. And I go in there and I ask the owner's son, Justin, who actually ended up being my boss later. I'm like, so how much to put a Floyd Rose locking tremolo on this guitar? Which is like worth like 3 times what the guitar is. The guitar's,
Oh, wow.
He was like, it's $250, which was a lot of money, and so we didn't do it. But it was funny that I asked him, and he got to give me some crap about that later on when I worked at the store.
Do you know Stone Jones?
No.
He's in Bellingham, and he's one of my podcast guests. I highly encourage you to listen to his episode. He's coming over Monday to record, but I have his excuse me. I have his CD right there in the CD player of his new album. That's also his sticker. But someone, everyone who knows Stone, they know he loves to talk, and they said, "Just be careful." And I said, "Why?" And they said, "Don't mention Van Halen." And probably within 2 minutes, he brought up Van Halen, and I was just laughing to myself because that was a really important band to him growing up. That was the first tape that he stole from someone.
So that's awesome. I bought my first Van Halen tape at Walmart.
Yeah.
So in April of 1991, my mom took me into Hugo Helmer's, and Mike, the owner, who's dearly departed, super excellent male role model of mine, and such a positive force on my life. And he passed away this last year from a long battle with Parkinson's.
Oh, man.
But we had this really sweet relationship that started when I was 15, and I just started going into the music store all the time, and he sold me that first guitar.
So it took you 5 months to learn the guitar enough that your mom was like,
just
okay.
to show a ton of interest.
That's great.
And I did. And, and since you're a teacher, I'll tell you about learning styles and stuff. So I just had the hardest time understanding directions that were written out and stuff sometimes. And so I never had the patience to really learn all of other people's songs, but I would learn the chords, or I would learn the licks, or I would learn like some of the rhythms and stuff. And the thing, I'm gonna talk about Van Halen again. So, and the thing that I loved about Van Halen is like the lead guitar and stuff was great, but he just played amazing riffs, and his syncopation and his timing and all that stuff were so great. And what that was a combination of Pete Townsend and Richie Blackmore and Jimmy Page and like all those great 70s guitar players. And that got into my DNA. And at the same time, my mom also we managed to get an acoustic guitar in the house. And so I started messing around with acoustic guitar and like learning sort of some Zeppelin riffs and stuff, and just learning to play acoustic guitar at the same time that I was learning to play electric, and which I play about 50-50.
Yeah.
And then that was the best thing that my mom ever could have done for me, because it was such a positive outlet. Because even if I couldn't get through all of something that was in a magazine or a book or something, I would always at least get something rewarding out of it if I applied myself, And it really, my mom was an artist, and she really showed me how art can help you be cathartic and help you manage and express your emotions in a positive way.
What kind of art did she do?
She painted and she drew and stuff.
Yeah.
And my mom was also an incredible mechanic. And when I talk about my album, I'll talk about that a little bit.
Is she still around?
No.
Okay.
But I'll talk about that too.
Okay.
I'm probably not as bad as Stone Jones, but we'll see what happens.
Well, when you talked about how, you were really anxious as a kid and that helped you, I just had two artists over on Monday. They were recording in our studio. It was great. We did a little radio interview. And I'm always curious, like, how people start playing music and stick with it. And one kid said, I was a really depressed kid.
Yeah.
And my mom said, just take this guitar. You have to do something. Here, try this guitar. Absolutely. And that's how he started. Yeah. And it's really, really helped him.
It's the guitar basically saved my life. And, man, so, between my sophomore year, like in the middle of my sophomore year, which is like 92, that's when the Seattle sound happened, like grunge and alt rock and all that stuff. And I got really interested in alt rock.
So when you were you said about 92, you were going to see like Fanny Alger, Hillcrest, and all that.
I was going to see some of their previous bands and some of the other.
Yeah. Did you also start a band around that time?
No, I didn't get to start a band until like much later, and I had a little garage band with some friends of mine. Yeah. But what happened was, I just kind of woodshedded, and I started learning little bits of different guitar styles. And then the most amazing thing happened. My mom had this friend who I call my Auntie Lee that lived down the road in Bow and on Urshik Road. And like, so this is how you know you're Gen X. So my Auntie Lee works at the little Chuckanut Valley store, and my mom used to give me a note and send me down to the store to get her smokes. And,
I used to do that with my grandma. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So my story's a lot like Joe Dirt. Anyways, so mom sent me down to the store, and it was funny because like I get there with a note, and I hand it to Auntie Lee behind the counter, and she's this beautiful hippie lady with super long black hair, as sweet as you could ever want, and she's like, "No, I'm gonna call your mom." And she called my mom, and her and my mom ended up being really great friends. And my Auntie Lee was and still is an amazing blues singer. And so I go from wanting to play like Van Halen and other stuff to Auntie Lee sending me home like John Lee Hooker records and stuff like that. And so I end up with, it was never that I could do people's licks, but like I ended up with this just incredible plethora of music that's in a really well-rounded musical education. And then the thing about alt rock is that and it was funny because like there was like the snobby thing with my friends and stuff. It was like, you can't sound like other bands. You can't sound like anybody else. They're like, you can't do that. And
Were these people musicians?
there were just people that listened
Oh,
to
got it.
just my friends that listened to music and stuff.
Okay.
And so I was like, man, I got to do my own thing. And and also my mom had gotten me a 12-string acoustic guitar for Christmas the following year after she had gotten me the other guitar. She liked to get me guitars, and we would skip school and go to guitar shops and stuff. And so one of the big turning points in my life is a musician is when Smashing Pumpkins' Siamese Dream came out. And so I used to get Guitar World magazine, and Billy had a lesson in there for Siamese Dream, like how to play some of the riffs and stuff. And I learned all the Smashing Pumpkins chord shapes, and I learned how they layered chords together to make things sound really big, and how they moved voicings around and did like inversions and stuff like that. And so that all ended up in my toolbox, and then I was in my first garage band. And then, I never really got to be in a band forever. I got married, and I just always played guitar at home and stuff. And, I would write like instrumentals and just come up with riffs. And, I worked at Hugo's from 99 to 2001, left to do some other jobs, and then I came back. But I started kind of playing music in that late 90s, early 2000s period with a friend of mine, my friend Tim. Started playing with him in like 95. But I never could get solid on anything. And then, when I was in my late 20s, I got a job at Piccioni's Pizzeria, and my friend Jesse was the cook, and so we hit it off, and he's like big into music, and so I ended up starting to write songs. Like I would write the lyrics and the music, and he would come up with the vocals, and that became like this one sort of solid band called Billiam. And then later down the road, when I got more serious about it, we formed this band called Funerals for Bugs. And when we did the Funerals for Bugs record, it had all the guitar stuff on it came out great. And I used the 12-string guitar, I played slide guitar, I played bass, like all a bunch of different instruments. And I used the magical Smashing Pumpkins chord layering to make some of the songs just sound really huge and have really big dynamics. And then, man, anxiety and like PTSD and all that stuff, it doesn't just go away unless you do something about it. And the older I got, the more that started to affect me from the stress of having a family and like that kind of thing, and having a ton of responsibility. And so after Funerals for Bugs broke up, one day I was like, I had written a couple songs for myself to sing. One day I was like, why don't I be the singer and play guitar? And so that's when I started writing songs for myself. and I was in a couple different bands that I won't really mention, and we did like a little EP. But I wasn't really a great singer.
Did you feel like because you said you didn't write songs for you before, and then you did you feel like that helped your anxiety?
Yeah, it helps me a lot because one of the things that I learned from my Auntie Lee, she's a very spiritual person, and kind of a psychic and stuff. And she noticed how sensitive and intuitive and how I read people and everything. And she taught me about tapping into and trusting my stream of consciousness. So at that point, when I was doing it all myself, I started to tap into my stream of consciousness. And that was me like really getting to know myself and what I was capable of. And people really liked my lyrics a lot. Like my writing really developed when, like, people always told me that my songwriting was great and stuff. And the most amazing thing happened. I'm going to talk about the Brown Lantern for a minute. Doesn't your husband work at the Brown Lantern?
Mason?
Mason?
No, that's not my husband. They do look similar because they have long hair and they're both drummers.
Okay.
But no, Spencer, he does construction.
Okay. All right, Spencer.
I'll leave that in. This is good.
So you know how you interviewed Dave Lervick and my friend Beth Bishop.
Oh, I
Lark
didn't.
and Linden.
I haven't interviewed Dave, but I did interview Beth. Yeah.
So
one of my favorite episodes. She's great.
So Dave used to run the open mic at the Brown Lantern. And so the way that I really grew into being a songwriter and a singer was I started going to open mic at the Brown Lantern like every week. And when my daughter was little, and so I would put her to bed and try to get her to stay there. And I'd sneak down to the Brown Lantern for a couple hours and just work on song ideas and like singing and stuff and all these different guitar things and different tunings, and a plethora of things. And everybody there was just so encouraging to me, and they helped me grow into a musician and a songwriter. And then I'll just fast forward a little bit and then I'll get less serious for a minute.
Okay.
Because I am going to tell that awesome bully story.
Okay.
Because it's also like a big part of who I am.
Okay.
My personality. So I buy a house in 2016 up in Glenhaven, which is just north of Woolley here a little bit. And I moved there with my ex-wife and my 3 kids. And I start playing some music, whenever I can. And, at that point, my PTSD and other stuff started to get really bad. And, man, yeah. Anyways, the reason that I talk about this stuff is because I want talking about mental health and addiction and things to become a lot more normalized and people to be more comfortable talking about it and how they've overcome things and to tell their story to everybody else, because it's definitely possible. My mom and I growing up were both survivors of domestic violence. And when my mom passed away, she was still kind. And I'm still kind, so we won. That's how I see it. But anyways, so it gets worse. And then,
How old were your kids when you guys bought the house?
My youngest was like 4.
Okay.
So like 4, 8, and like 12 or 13. My
Yeah.
daughter was 12 or 13.
And it was your guys' first home.
It was our first home.
So you have a bunch of kids, your first home.
I do.
That's stressful.
And I'm in a relationship that doesn't work, but I'm trying to keep it together for the kids. And all that. And, you know, I had been through drinking a lot before, but like all that really started to pile up. And I started like having PTSD attacks and like shaking and laying on the floor in the kitchen. And, you know, I finally got meds, and then I finally started going to counseling, and I was able to let go of a lot of that stuff and deal with it. But, you know, I was not in a healthy relationship, you know, and so, you know, between that and like alcohol is the only thing that made me feel calm. And I was like, even like drinking on top of my meds, you know, and stuff. And so, moved down the road, it gets rough for me, you know, and I'm still trying to play music. I'm playing music with my friends when I can and stuff, and things start to move on.
And were you working at Hugo's at this point?
I was working at Hugo's up until 2020. And then after, my bully story is going to come in here pretty soon. It's pretty great. There's two of them that go together.
Okay. Are one of the bullies on these posters?
No.
Okay, good.
So
I would take it off.
so after lockdown, I decided, you know, I'd been working at Hugo's for 15 years, and my job had just it was time for me to move on. And I didn't want to become a product rep in the music retail industry because I didn't want to be gone. Like, I had probably enough experience to do that, but I wanted to be home all the time for my kids and everybody else. And so I go to work for Columbia Distributing. I've worked there for the last 2 years, and it's been really great. And I'm a non-alc sales rep for them, and I do beverages for big grocery stores and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, keeps me in really good shape. It's bust ass work, and I'll tell you, I saw the sign out there. Hard work is Irish painkiller. And so, anyways, I start working there, and then things go along, and you know, everything comes to an end. And so in October of 2022, you know, I finally told my ex-wife that we were done. And you know, she reminded me about some stuff that I did when I was drinking, and I had like a couple episodes before then, and I really knew that I just wanted to quit. And so,
would you be able to have like a beer here and there, or would you just drink until like just excess all the time?
It got to the point where I was drinking all the time. I'm Irish, or I'm part Irish, so I have a big soft spot for Jameson whiskey sometimes. And I don't even remember how I got home for my birthday that year, because like I had just like blacked out.
Yeah.
You know, I was never abusive when I was drunk, and you know, I never got a DWI or anything really stupid. Everybody's rock bottom is different. You know, the drinking is just a symptom of bigger problems with yourself, and it's an allergy of the mind and body. So some of us, when we drink alcohol and we get to a certain point with it, we hit this like phenomenon of craving, and we just can't stop.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and
well, good for you for recognizing that.
Yeah, I just had so much anxiety from everything. And so, you know, it was leaving the unhealthy relationship, and, you know, I tried to be as kind about it as I could, you know.
Was she like surprised? Was she fighting it, or was she like, yeah, maybe we should part ways?
She had a feeling, and then you know, there's always like a breaking point with things. And so
One, you're both probably just
we had
thinking
been
of the
married for like
kids.
25 years, long time.
Well, yeah, and you have kids, and
We have
so I'm
kids.
sure you're both just like holding on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, people can't give what they don't have, you know. And so for me, uh, my sobriety date is October 12th of 2022. And I have like 3 years and 3 months. And so October 12th is my mom's birthday. And
Oh,
I totally didn't mean for it to end up like that.
wow.
And you know, my mom battled with drugs and alcohol and her own personal demons and her whole life. And you know, seeing some of that definitely gave me some trauma. And so I stopped talking to my mom for like 20 years because of something that happened to her that I saw that was just horrible. You know, when I was when I was a young man, and so I had this huge, huge resentment against my mom, and just a huge wound from that, and that was part of that was part of, you know, what drove me into addiction, because I love my mom so much. You've heard me talk about her so far, and you know, I went to a certain fellowship, and I got myself a sponsor, and I worked our program, and I was a hot crying mess for a long time, and but then I really started to get my stuff together, you know, and my big problem my whole life is I I have a huge heart. I'm a very emotional person. I'm a very expressive person, and that's great for some things, but not great for others. So there's this thing called emotional sobriety where you can learn to choose to uh, react or respond to things. And so I learned about emotional sobriety, got control of my life, and that I'm gonna wrap up this part of it. The most beautiful thing happened after that. I had wanted to forgive my mom forever because I missed her, you know, and my mom was still absolutely in the throes of hardcore addiction and alcohol, and she had been living down in Arizona forever. And, but I mean, you know, she had me really young, so we were really close, you know, and, you know, through working my program and stuff, I just was like, I am an alcoholic too, and I have issues. So how can I judge my mom for what she did and choices that she made, you know? And so I called my mom's best friend, who was still in contact with my mom, and I reconnected with my mom. And
Wow.
we started just talking to each other over time. And she actually got better because of that connection to me, because losing her to connection to me was like the most painful thing for her, and that drove a lot, and my brother too, and that drove a lot of terrible things for her.
What year was that you guys reconnected?
2023.
Oh, so you got sober.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, yeah.
And so I had just been talking to my mom every week, and you know, she helped me through the split and stuff just by calling me, and I'd call her and we'd say our prayers on the phone, and um I talk to her all the time. And you know, there's nothing like having your mom remind you of the kind of man that you are when you're going through something as hard and emasculating as divorce and everything else. But I was able to handle all that because I was sober and I had support. And so that on that week in October, I hadn't seen my mom in over 20 years, and so she flew out from Arizona to celebrate my 1 year of sobriety.
Oh,
And
on her birthday.
yeah,
Was she still with her husband?
no,
Okay.
she had been.
Did that end a long time
That
ago?
ended a long time
Okay.
ago. So my mom and my stepfather got split when I was in high school.
Oh, okay, good.
That was part of what made it pretty unbearable to be at home.
Oh, yeah.
And why like the music and stuff really helped.
Yeah.
And so mom even got sober for a while, but she could never really do it. But she came up, and the most beautiful thing that I did is I put my mom back in her rightful spot in my life. And when she was here, she would make me peanut butter and jelly sandwiches when I came home from work and leave me notes in the fridge. And we would watch the Carol Burnett show every night and laugh our asses off.
Oh, I love that show.
and then she got to give me my 1 year coin.
Oh my gosh.
And, it gave her so much peace. And then I had a speaker meeting, and I sat down with my mom and I talked to her about all the stuff that I was going to talk about in the speaker meeting and the beautiful thing was I got to talk about, like, instead of saying things happened to me, I said, this happened to our family. So it was not about me anymore. And it was so great because my mom let me just talk about everything, which was awesome. And my mom made amends with me for a whole bunch of things, and I made amends with her for a whole bunch of things. And then a couple months later, right around, she went back home. She was only here for a week, and then she went back to Arizona. And my mom passed away a couple months later.
Oh.
But she, it gave her so much peace in her life that she had reconnected with me. And when she was, that year that I was a little bit after that, I started working on my record with my friend Ed Blau, who's Carl Blau's brother. Mom got to hear a bunch of the rough mixes of some of the songs that Ed and I did together. And I've known Ed forever, and he's an excellent recording engineer and producer, and he just lovingly grabbed onto me and helped me make the Joe Leroy's Reconcillers record. And the record is dedicated to the memory of my mom. And the painting on the cover is a painting done by Alex Blau, who's Ed and Carl's youngest brother.
Oh, I didn't know there was an Alex. I know there's a Peter.
And Peter's the oldest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And
Peter was Spencer's band teacher in Concrete. Yeah.
They're wonderful guys.
How many are there?
They all grew up on Samish Island and stuff, so it's funny when I show up for functions and stuff and I play music with people. I'm just like the kid down the road. I just grew up down the road.
I love that.
So the cover is a painting, an interpretive painting of the house that I grew up in Bow, and my mom's Camaro, and kind of the Blanchard skyline. And I believe that, in life we don't get to be happy all the time. And I call that contrasting clouds. So the gray and dark clouds make the blue sky that punches through look amazing. And so that painting definitely has some of that. And I'm
looking at that right now.
That's the painting.
No, I just realized, you did send it to me on a different platform. And I remember I did listen to it. But that was January. Listened to quite a few things since then, so I forgot. Sorry.
It's hard to know.
Yeah. So that's a beautiful painting.
It's amazing. I got the whole. I have the painting on the wall in my living room, and the album cover, which I have. We're gonna do CDs and stuff eventually, but the inside the cover, I did old school and I wrote. I love cursive writing. I'm great at doing it, and so I hand wrote all the liner notes, and then on the back there's a picture of my mom on her Harley,
Oh my gosh.
and uh, I'm going to tell the Harley story really quick, and then I'm going to tell the bully story.
That's awesome.
So, uh, all the best mechanics and engineers that I know have ADD and ADHD so bad. and my mom had that too. But when she was growing up, my grandfather, my Irish grandfather that I'm named after, uh, he was a chief engineer on big ships and just a really great mechanic. And so, and then my Uncle Mike, who was the oldest son, uh, bless his soul. You might be from an Irish family if your name is Michael Splain. it's so Uncle Mike was really same. So many people in my family are neurodivergent, and I've accepted that I am neurodivergent too, and which explains why I could never learn a song in a straight line, and I had to make up my own. And so mom learned mechanics from her brother and watching her dad, and then the thing is, we have this awesome, strong feminist streak in my family. My mom went through so much shit with men, but at the same time, she was independent. And my grandma Bonnie was a Rosie the Riveter, and she worked in an airplane factory in San Francisco area during World War II.
Wait, like the girl on the poster?
Mm-hmm.
That's your grandma?
Not my grandma, but that's what she did.
Oh,
that's what they called. That's what they called all the moms and stuff that worked in the airplane and munitions factory while the guys were off fighting the war. And when my mom grows up during 70s feminism and stuff, and she's mistreated by men her whole life, and then she finally just gets to the point. I watched her once. My stepdad had the '65 Chevy truck, and the wiring had been screwed up so many times by so many different people. My mom goes and she gets a diagram one day, and she just crawls under there, pulls all the wiring out, and rewires the whole truck.
Oh my gosh.
front to back. And she always loved motorcycles. And she really understood how they worked. And so her and my stepfather got into motorcycles, and he had a Harley, and my mom had like a little bike. And then my mom was a construction worker for a long time. During affirmative action, you had to have at least one woman on your construction crew.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. And
okay.
So my mom did like asphalt refinishing and stuff. So she weighs like 110 pounds dripping wet. And she's dragging around big old 50-pound sacks of concrete. And so mom saves up some of her own money, and she buys what you call a basket case Harley, which is a Harley all in pieces. It's a 1976 shovel head.
It's like a Lego kit.
Almost. But it's a motorcycle. And there was this shop in Bellingham called V Twin that was owned by this lady Kelly, one of the few lady motorcycle shop owners. And her and my mom were friends, and my mom took her Harley in there, and Kelly finished teaching my mom how to fix Harleys. And the bike went in pieces, and then her and Kelly fixed it up, and a year later my mom rode it out of the shop.
Wow.
And she named her bike Sassy and painted it turquoise. And so that was like one of her bike and me were like two of her greatest achievements in life. And so, when mom passed, I said that, she rode her Harley into heaven. And, every time I get another month of sobriety, I swear I can hear her up there just jamming that thing. And my album is called Joe Leroy's Reconcillers. Reconciling is setting all of your relationships in life right, the best that you can. And my band is called the Reconsillers because I reconciled with my mom and made amends for a whole bunch of things. And all of my relationships in life have grown because of that. And it's called Blue Pipes and Hot Nights because, like, when a Harley is running right and it's tuned correctly, especially an old school one with a carb, the right at the headers where the exhaust pipe comes out will be a beautiful blue color.
Oh.
That's how you know that you have like the air to gas mix adjusted like perfectly. So that's why it's called Blue Pipes and Hot Nights. So here's my quick bully story. We moved to Bow when I was in the 5th grade.
And you were really looking forward to meeting a bunch of new kids, right?
Never. Anyways, I was a skinny, awkward, tall kid in like secondhand and sometimes dirty clothes, and I really got picked out for it, and this is like 87. And so, you always have the same people in your class when it's a small school. And if some of them decide that they don't like you, it's rough because you end up with them again the next year.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to me. And so I know this guy doesn't live here anymore, so I'm just going to say his name because there's a great story that gets attached to it at the end. So, I'll just use his first name. So this kid, Chris, he used to just torture me. And, man, 6th grade was really rough. And so towards the end of the year, we have the cafe, or not the cafe, but the lunch. We have an amazing lunch lady. Her name is Annabelle Brown, and she had been there forever. And so our food was really great compared to a lot of schools and stuff. And I would go and help out in the kitchen so that I could get a Carnation ice cream bar on Fridays. And so I'm in there one day and I've got, there are these old school heavy duty plastic industrial lunch trays, and they're like bright yellow. And so I'm standing there one day and Chris is looking at me and he reaches in my plate of mashed potatoes and he puts it in my face.
Oh.
And he says to me, "What are you going to do, Joe?" And, that's the moment that I learned about my genetic Irish gangster smile. So if I'm quiet and I got this grin on my face, it means it's going to go down in about a second.
Look out.
Look, I had a lot of pent-up rage. I broke Chris's front teeth out with my lunch tray.
Oh my gosh.
I did. And, I got in-school suspension for it, and he had been a problem kid, so his parents never talked to my parents about the dental bill or anything. And one of his friends that I won't mention because I'm still friends with them was one of my bullies the next year, and he hit me in the back of the head and some other stuff. And then the most beautiful thing happened in 2020 when I got hired to work at Columbia. I go to show up there, and he looks at me and he says, "Hey, I know you." He says, he's a big tall dude. He says, "I am so sorry for how I treated you when we were in school. I know you had it hard." That was like the first thing that he said to me. And he goes, "Do you want a job, Joe?" And I was like, "Yes, I do." And he turned out to be like one of the sweetest, nicest bosses. And my career everything there has been blossomed ever since. It's been really great.
Well, I think about that phrase, hurt people hurt people.
Yeah, it's
So
really
I'm sure
true.
when you got sober and you started reflecting,
Oh,
you
I
probably
did.
thought, "Oh, this
I
poor
I
kid
can't even
Chris."
imagine. I can't even imagine what Chris's home life was like and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And then here's where we get the Netflix crime series story. And I hope I'm not taking too much time.
Oh no, not at all, not at all.
So, I'm sitting with one of my friends and another old friend, and we're having lunch. My other old friend used to be the bouncer at Maxdale's back in the late '90s and stuff.
Was it Maxdale's? Like, isn't that just a restaurant?
Yeah,
But they need a bouncer?
It used to, like, the nightclub in there used to be like huge for partying and
Oh,
stuff.
I didn't
and,
realize there was like a
and
nightclub.
drugs and all kinds
Oh.
of different things.
Oh wow, okay.
And so he would hear about all kinds of like underground things, stuff that was going on. And well, he told me, and I don't know if it's true or not, but it's probably entertaining. The Chris was working as a cook at the Pantry Cafe, and it mysteriously burnt down, and Chris disappeared.
Oh my gosh.
And the story was that he was dealing coke, and he owed the cartel or somebody money, and nobody knows where he is.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I go home the next day, and I look at my ex-wife and I go, I woke up today. I don't owe the cartel money for cocaine. You know, and that was great. And so,
My life is pretty good in comparison.
So,
Yeah.
you know, so moving on to music and stuff in the future. So, we finished the record, like mixing it and stuff. I think this last summer.
Who were all the musicians on the record?
All the musicians on the record. So, some of the songs were Ed played drums, bass, and keyboards, and did background vocals. And some of the songs, my friend Bryce Weech played drums, and my friend Darren Matthews played bass. And Bryce and Darren were in this pretty well known band from and of course called the Gift Machine.
Oh, I think I've played one of their songs on the radio. I've heard
Yeah.
a lot about them. Yeah.
Yeah,
They're no longer around.
No.
Okay.
Well, actually, Darren's brother was the singer and stuff, Dave, and he moved to California.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so he'll come up in the Gift Machine had like a revolving cast of different people. But I had known Bryce from the music store from a long time ago, and then also him and my best friend Jesse worked together. And so we had played a little bit of music together, so he was just down to do the record. And like the way that I syncopate things on the guitar when I play, he loves it, so he just eats it up. And so our music has a ton of syncopation to it, and that comes from bands like The Police are my favorite band, like The Police, The Talking Heads, like that, like definitely that kind of influence. And so
where did you guys record the album?
We recorded the album in Ed Shed, and I had a bunch of nice microphones and stuff that had been given to me from preamps that had been given to me by a friend of mine.
Is that on Samish, his studio?
No, it's in Clear Lake.
Oh, okay.
And he put so much love and work into that record that he's not doing the next one. We were joking about that the other day, and you know, I told him how much I loved him, and he just like lovingly held my hand and coached me through the whole recording process and having confidence in my vocals and all that stuff. And we ended up with some amazing songs and stuff that I'm super proud of. And Ed does a lot of the vocal harmonies, all the piano. There's a little bit of killer nylon string guitar on one of the songs that he did. And Bryce plays the organ on one of the songs. It's like a huge variety thing. And it starts with some of like my Mississippi Delta blues uh, influences, where I play slide guitar and I play like open tunings and stuff. And I I just all that year I got to practice guitar a lot when I was working in a music store for 15 years.
Yeah.
So even if I wasn't playing music or playing in a band, I was always doing something with the guitar. And but since I've been in sobriety and I've gotten spiritually and physically fit, my my vocals have improved so much. And like there's on like Kenny, I had written that song a long time ago and gave it to a friend of mine, and it sat on his piano, and he never fucking finished it. And I was like, I'm taking that home. 'Cause I used to give songs to people, my friends that were musicians, and I'd be like, hey, let's do this with you on vocals. And yeah, so Kenny was the first song, and man, where was I at, Liz?
Well, no. So did your album just come out like the beginning of this year?
It just I
Because you
just
sent that to me in January.
yeah I just dropped it in December.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I did. I can't remember.
Have you played any shows?
No.
Are you going to?
I hope so. If I can
Okay.
get if I can get some booked, and then I do, uh, I do, I do play by myself. You know, I have a ton of other songs, and so sometimes I'll incorporate those. And I've done a ton of open mics and stuff, and folks really seem, and I've always wanted to do music that is either at home, at either a biker rally, or in a skate park. And so I think I hit that spot because a lot of older folks that grew up in the 60s and 70s, they love seeing me play slide guitar and different things and do some of the things that I do with the guitar.
That's
And
great.
you know, the album has a really strong like 70s singer songwriter vibe to it, and I think that's part of the spiritual part of that is my mom's contribution, you know. And yeah,
Well, hey, you want to get your guitar and play some songs?
sure.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna play Kenny Has Lucifer on speed dial, and it is on my album.
Okay.
And
What's the story behind the song?
the story behind the song is sometimes I write things and I don't know what they're about until later on because the lyrics come out of my subconscious. It happens quite a bit. But what I figured out that the story is Kenny is somebody that has been suffering from mental illness and addiction for a long time, and he's like all over the streets everywhere. And, you know, he never gets any help until one day, um, this this really nice guy in like his 30s is walking down the street with his little daughter, and she notices Kenny. And you know, her dad's like really her dad's really outgoing and gregarious like me. And so he starts talking to Kenny, and Kenny, after all this time, he finally says that he needs help because people used to see him like being all crazy and dialing his phone and saying crazy stuff like all the time. And Kenny Has Lucifer on speed dial is also kind of a reference to somebody calling their dealer at the same time, you know. But I like to say that the ending is that Kenny finally gets help, you know. And I've seen so many people in recovery come off the streets and stop being homeless and get their lives back and all those different things. And you know, I've lost all my fear and prejudice about where people are at in their lives, you know, because everybody's rock bottom is different, and I could have ended up there, but it didn't happen to me. But yeah.
I love it.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
I can't catch hell for this, 'cause I've already been laid over willow trees, growing through cracks in the sidewalks, little old houses with paint. We were fleeing from fear, we knew we'd make it all along. We knew we'd make it all along. On Tuesday they leveled the earth, drove evil in the dirt. It's never come back again. It's never come back again. Living life without paranoia. Kenny as Lucifer on speed dial. Living life without paranoia. Kenny as Lucifer on speed dial. Fragile imprints worn away. What's left is me. Don't forget my name. 2 or 3 words on 1,000 blank pages, just to say I love you all. Just to say I love you all. On Tuesday they loved the earth, drove evil in the dirt. It's never come back again. It's never come back again. Living life without paranoia. Kenny as Lucifer on speed dial. 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 One more time. Kenny as Lucifer on speed dial. On Tuesday they leveled the earth, drove evil in the dirt. It's never come back again. It's never come back again. Was that okay, or should I go back to working at Burger King?
Get out. No, that was great. I'm just curious, how is that different than the one on the album?
Now, the one on the album has Ed doing the background vocals, and
Okay.
it also has a really beautiful piano.
Oh, nice.
He has this amazing standing piano that, and it also has drums and bass, but this amazing piano that he recorded in his living room. And in the middle of the song where there's the break, his dog Pepper barked in absolutely the perfect spot, and we got it on the recording.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
And also on the there's a bunch of electric guitar in spots on the album version. It's definitely heavier in the outro and stuff.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
No, that was really good.
Thank you.
Yeah. I was gonna say, before you play another one, so people can find your stuff on Spotify. And you said that you're going to be having CDs.
I'm gonna have CDs eventually, but we're mostly on all the streaming services. So
Bandcamp? Can we buy it on Bandcamp?
I haven't put it up on Bandcamp yet, but you can get it on Spotify, Apple Music, and a couple other places as well.
Okay. I recommend Bandcamp. That way we can purchase it.
Yeah.
Support your art. Yeah.
I'm gonna get that up pretty soon.
Yeah. Nice.
And I'll let everybody know when it does happen. But I'm basically old school. I'm gonna make CDs by hand. I have like 50 CD labels or CD covers printed.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. Cool.
Can I play one more? Can I play
Of course, yeah,
songs?
yeah. So I was also going to ask. I think I asked you earlier, but besides open mic, like, do you go to open mics every week?
Not every week.
Okay.
But whenever I can,
Yeah.
I go to that one at the Brown, and I've heard about a few other ones. And
Pete Rubel hosts one at the Admiralty Lounge in
Yeah,
Bellingham.
I've heard about that.
Yeah.
I've also been to the one at Ono Kitchen.
Oh yeah.
I did that one time. And
Have you ever been to the one at the Bigfoot Den in Woolley?
No, but I'm gonna go to that sometime. I used to go to that when it was the Woolly Market.
Yeah, well, I was just gonna say, we were talking last night. We record a radio show on a Tuesday, and then it's airing right now. And I was talking about shows coming up this weekend, and Spencer said that Jim Fichter's one of his other bands, Undecided, they're playing at the Woolly at Bigfoot Den on Friday. And I thought, oh yeah, I forgot they did music, and they do karaoke, and they do an open mic, like. They do everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's one that's probably underrated too. Yeah.
And that room sounds great, and their PA sounds great.
Does it? Yeah. Nice. Awesome. Well, maybe the people will hear you at an open mic somewhere. And then if you know.
They will. And I constantly write songs in the moment. I'll make a song just in a day, and then I just immediately post it. So
oh,
it's
really?
like, actually, it's all like my stream of consciousness, like the arrangement and everything. And I'll usually post those on my Facebook page and Instagram.
Oh, great!
And that's my Facebook page and Instagram are Joe Guitar Man, and the band is Joe Leroy's Reconsillers.
Leroy is your last name.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
my real last name is Peterson.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't tell you about that.
No.
So my middle name is Leroy.
Oh, okay.
And so it's Joseph Leroy Peterson. And so when I was trying to come up for, what the songwriter name for myself, I was like, I should just use my middle name because it sounds like bluesy and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so whenever you get a bunch of musicians together and put together like maybe a really big, show at, I don't know, Cats or something, we'll definitely let people know.
Yeah.
Also too, we love playing any kind of music on a radio show. So yeah, just shoot me any tracks. Like I wrote this yesterday. We'll play it. Yeah.
Oh, sure. And you still have to play some of our album.
Yes. That too. Yeah.
I've been waiting. I've been looking at your list on Facebook.
Oh, my playlist.
And I've been waiting to see Joe Leroy's Reconcillers.
No. Do you know how people get on my list? They go, "Hey Liz, can you play our stuff?" And I'll go, "Oh yeah," and then I'll forget, or we'll run out of room, and then you just have to ask me again. It's just because, teacher, podcaster, radio host, I just forget. So just keep hounding me.
I'm gonna make little videos, and I'll be like, Liz, will you please play my album? Will you please play the whole thing? Oh, pretty please.
Oh my gosh.
We spent months and months in the woodshed. Most of Ed's hair fell out during the engineering.
This next song is dedicated to Ed's hair that fell out.
I hope he's gonna give me some crap about that later. Honestly, I've never seen a guy that looks more handsome in trucker hats. So I'm hoping that we have some merch and we make trucker hats.
Well, you do have a good lock of hair, a good bunch of hair. So I hear
it's all
you.
right. When I was at one point when I was like 20, I had hair all the way down past my ass.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
So
this-
you're Charlie's inspiration. That's why Charlie's growing his hair out.
I don't know. But this song is actually going to go on my next album, and it's not on this one, but I've been playing it and working on it for years. Some of my songs are like that. Like a bunch of the songs on my record I had for years, but it just took me time to grow into them, and their arrangements and stuff changed over time. But this song's called "The Falls," and it's inspired by like this late 80s androgynous high school couple. They're both like goth kids, and they're totally into like The Cure and Depeche Mode and all that stuff. And they're always like constantly arguing and saying, I love you, I hate you, and all those sort of things. And they wear black lipstick. And they go to the prom. And so I was inspired to write like the song that would have been played at their prom.
Okay.
You push me over the falls, made me wanna give up it all. I can't float, I can't swim, but I'll sure as hell get through this. And the dark it reaches out for me, and I slip away, yeah. And the dark it reaches out for me, and I slip away, yeah. You push me, don't you want me? You push me away. You push me, don't you tell me? You push me away. You push me over the falls, made me wanna give up it all. I thought I had a thing, tore it all up again. And the dark here reaches out for me, and I slip away, yeah. And the dark here reaches out for me, and I slip away, yeah. You push me, don't you want me? You push me away. You push me, don't you want me? You push me away. Kill it. You push me over the falls. You push me over the falls. You push me over the falls.
All right, that's my favorite. That one's really good.
Thank you.
I'm playing that on the radio. I'm not even going to ask your permission. I'm just going to do it.
So, first the kids got into an argument and they're kind of pushing each other. And then by the time the whole prom's over, they're kissing the hell out of each other. And they got fucking like black lipstick all over their faces. And yeah. And, they move on after that.
Do you feel like your next one, because I mean, I think a whole band arrangement is great, but like, what about just like an acoustic album? Just this?
There's a lot of acoustic stuff on my record.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We kind of balanced it. It's like 50-50
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of acoustic guitar in spots too. And yeah, there's a lot of different things that I do with guitar. And I'm going to play this song for you, Liz. And it's on my record.
Well, I was going to say your first record took you, 40 years to make. So make sure you do your second one a lot quicker. I want to hear new stuff already.
This song is called Voluntary Service, and it's on my record. And it's about this dream that I had, because I've always wanted to help people heal my whole life. Like it's just something that I've been driven by forever, and so in life, the natural order of energy is it goes in circles. Like our planet spins, all these things, and that makes it continuous. When something is in an up and down line, it's going to run out. And so I had this dream where I got into this elevator in this big office building, and I got to the very top floor, and there's all these people sitting at their desks, and they look just miserable. And then I look up, and they don't see what I see. I see these beings that are just hanging above them, and the beings have their hands out, and they're like sucking the energy out of everybody in the room, and it's all going straight up and down. And so I walk into the room, and I'm like, what can I do? I close my eyes for a second, and I just know intuitively what to do. So I put my hands out in front of me, and I take all the energy in the room, and I make it go back in a circle, and all of those beings just disappear. Wow. And the guitar part on the song is one of my most difficult guitar parts I've ever come up with, and I had to practice it for years to get it right. So I'm so stoked by how it came out on the record. But here we go. Walked into her office, it was full of demons, white suits and black ties, calling me out, they were telling me lies, energy turned upside down, everything turned upside down, put out my hands, call upon the white saints, smoking through the room. I'm no angel, but I will help you now. Walked into the office, there was 4 demons, white suits and black ties, calling me out and waving their lines. Energy turned upside down, everything turned upside down. Put up my hands, call upon the white saints, smoking through the room. No more deal, nothing left for them. They could just have it all. They can just have it all. They can just have it all. You don't have to give anymore. You don't have to give anymore. I'm no angel, but I will help you now. Leave them nothing, nothing's their prize. You don't have to give anymore. You don't have to give anymore. Walked into your office,
That was good, Joe.
Thank you.
I love how you got really quiet and then really loud. I feel like when there's just like an acoustic song, it's pretty,
Yeah.
even tempo. And I was like, oh, I don't hear that very often. I like that.
Dynamics are beautiful, and like, I learned when I got to play hundreds of acoustic guitars when I worked in the shop, and I was like basically the acoustic guitar specialist. And some acoustic guitars will have great dynamic range. They're like it's like a person's voice. Same sort of thing. Anyways, I really want to thank you for having me on your podcast, Liz.
Oh, you're welcome.
And
I appreciate you reaching out.
thanks. I want to I want to say, I'm not making a political statement or anything, but I want to say that equality and everything else in the world, what that comes down to is that it's all just good manners. All of it. It is all just good manners and decency. And I encourage everybody when they're having a hard time to remember how they were raised to have good manners by their grandparents and everybody else. And that is a guide for your life about how to treat people. And if you're kind when others aren't or can't be, you win. Night, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Joe.